Hello and welcome to Season 2 of Data After Hours. I'm your host, Eric Balish, and I couldn't be more excited to kick off a brand new season of conversations that dive beyond the data and into the lives of incredible people in the analytics space. Joining me for our first episode is Michelle O, a business intelligence developer at Booz Allen Hamilton and a former colleague of mine. Michelle is not only a brilliant Tableau dashboard designer and developer, but also brings a unique perspective to the table with her background in sociology. She's passionate about using data to uncover insights that drive impactful decision-making, all while keeping a focus on the social dynamics behind the numbers. But tonight, we're stepping away from the professional and diving into Michelle's personal world. So grab your favorite after-hours beverage, settle in, and let's get to know the person behind the data. This is Data After Hours. Hey, Michelle, welcome to the show.
Hey, Eric. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to catch up with you. It's been quite a while since we've been able to connect, but how's your New Year's going?
Good. And I also was so excited to see you again.
I know. Those were the days when
Those
we
were
were
the
all at Booz
days.
Allen together. So before we get into just your hobbies and interests outside of work, can you just share with the audience kind of what you do in the analytics community or your day job or just different tools that you work with?
Yeah. On my day-to-day, I work as a business intelligence developer at Booz Allen, like you mentioned. And I think Booz Allen is probably a name that a lot of people are familiar with in the DC area, but it is a government contracting firm. So I actually work with the company internally, working with their corporate data. And we just use Tableau, we do Alteryx, and we started to get into Databricks. So all sorts of different tools. But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I remember when I was at Booz, I was like, Michelle, you got to get on Twitter. You got to connect with the data community. And so you made your I guess X account and I know your Tableau resume went pretty viral in the community, right?
Yep, I actually was thinking about that the other day about how I had no idea this Tableau community existed until you joined our team. And I thought about those times a lot because it was just such a fun experience. Just doing things outside of work that's still kind of like Tableau related. And I was thinking about all the events that we went to before COVID, like do you remember the Visathon?
I remember that. Yeah. That was a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you getting me onto the Tableau community because um, it was really through you. Like, I actually tried to grow my Tableau profile, and I remember the first time I got Visit of the Day, and I was so happy.
Oh, thanks. That's so nice. Yeah, that's always like a great feeling. And, it is, I remember like explaining it. It's like, it's so weird that there's such a huge community around a tool, but everyone's, always willing to help each other grow in their data viz journey and stuff like that. So, those were definitely some good times when we were able to work together on that type of stuff. But awesome. Let's get into the cool stuff. So, outside of, your normal day-to-day, what are some hobbies and interests that you have?
Yeah, I think since the last time I seen you, I got really interested and just really into more of like an active lifestyle. So I picked up some hobbies that are maybe surprising to you because I also think back about our time at Booz Allen. I remember we used to have our sprint planning meetings, and every morning we would ask each other, "Did you go to the gym?" Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yes.
But I kind of wanted to carry that momentum, especially after COVID. Like, I realized it's really nice to have that break from work and like do more sports
Mhm.
activity. So I picked up pickleball. Like
Well, awesome.
most people in America, I picked up pickleball. And then of course I do I really enjoy running now. And then to your surprise, I started playing golf.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah, I think like as much as I love playing with data outside of work for fun and doing all the community stuff, like there's definitely separation from like, I still need to live my life and do the things that I enjoy doing, and like, working out's one of them, similar like what you said. So how did you first get into pickleball, and like just where do you find joy in that?
I first got into it because my husband plays. Like he's a
Ah,
pretty avid player, and I'm
nice.
pretty competitive with him in general, I feel. And I know he's better at it, but I just want to beat him once. So
He
that's
doesn't let
really
you
my
win?
drive. No, he does not let me win.
Man, tough. Do you guys play in any like co-ed leagues, or is that something that you'd consider doing?
Yeah, I might one day, but I'm also kind of scared of disappointing people. But like in the community, they're also nice. They're like the Tableau community. Like the
Hmm.
pickleball community is pretty nice, and we do like drop-ins where you can, partner with anyone and play any available games, especially since it's so popular now. It's so hard to find a court.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I remember it was at our old townhouse, and even maybe here at our new house, they turned the basketball court into, had like added like pickleball lines and things like that. So I think it's definitely something that a lot of people have gotten into. Would you ever go to any like professional matches?
It's funny because I was asked that. Like there was an actual DC tournament and it's just not as exciting to watch it, I think.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, what about golf? Do you think golf is like, do you watch golf, or do you just enjoy playing it?
So I will say I just started.
Okay.
So I'm not that great. So I'm still kind of just practicing before I get on the green.
Hmm.
I don't want to cause that congestion.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my whole family plays, and so I think it's a great sport to pick up socially too. And just
Hmm.
I think a lot of people as they get older, I feel like golf is definitely a great sport.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Even though it's like, I don't know, as you get older and I don't know, more stiff, like the golf
Yeah.
swing is just like not a natural swing, but yeah, it's fun. I played a lot when I was a kid, and then kind of took a break to play some other sports, but then got into it the past several years, and I like being outside. I love like the beautiful architecture of a golf course, especially like the nice ones. I don't know, sometimes the public community ones aren't so nice, but I think around here they're pretty nice.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. But yeah, I just enjoy golf and pickleball, I think, because there's like a technique to it. Like I really like kind of perfecting that form.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
yeah, that makes sense. But then totally different from running. Well, I guess there's
totally
form
different
in
from
running, but do you run a lot? Like, how do you do races?
that's my New Year's resolution. I want to do
Wow.
like an actual 5K this year, which doesn't sound like that, you know, serious or anything, but I always sucked at running.
Yeah.
I've never finished a mile in elementary school, like during the test and stuff. Like I would always walk it. So I think being able to do that for me would be big. And I
Hmm.
think it's been nice, especially again, like after work, just taking a break and like not really thinking and you're just
Hmm.
doing the motions.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. So do you I know like when we were together at Booz Allen, like I would always talk about Orange Theory. Like, have you joined any gyms like that, or you kind of go out into the trails or the WNOD trail and run?
Yeah, it's so funny you mentioned Orange Theory because I remember you're like, look at my stats like every morning.
My gosh, don't help me like that.
But I have not joined like an Orange Theory. I do run on the WNOD trail. That's a really nice trail because it's just you see nothing but scenery and it's
Yeah,
like a dedicated space where you don't have to worry about like
yeah.
traffic or anything like that.
Sometimes I just don't like how long and straight it is. It's like, I don't know, you get like, it's like so far. If you're like, sometimes I like a quick change of scenery where I'm like going around turns, or sometimes it's like too long and straight. And then, like, I don't know, some of the people, like the bikers on there,
Yeah, the bikers
man.
are kind of intense. I remember I ran actually Christmas Day and I was like, okay, this is it because there was no bikers. I was like,
Hmm.
this is so nice.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad that you've kind of found some passion in some that active lifestyle that you mentioned. Any other hobbies or interests?
Well, I picked up crocheting and knitting.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice. I remember you used to make custom stickers. So is this what replaced that?
I think I would say yes. I think it's really, I don't know, I feel more gratification from it just because I can actually make something that I would actually wear every day. Like I'm wearing my sweater that I
Whoa,
crocheted.
you made that?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy. Okay, so this is like hardcore crochet. Well, first of all, what is the difference between crocheting and knitting? Because I have no
Yeah,
idea.
that's a good question. Crocheting is you're basically using a hook and you're basically making knots. And so the biggest difference is you're using a single tool, but like knitting, you're using like two sticks. And
Mm,
you're still kind of creating like a knot, but it's more like crocheting is definitely like it's definitely a knot.
gotcha. Now, can you make that same sweater by crocheting or knitting? Like, could you both do the same thing?
I would say you could get a similar effect.
Okay.
Like this crochet was kind of cool because it looks like it was knitted.
Hmm.
So there's like
Oh,
certain kind of stitches that you could do.
oh man,
Yeah, it's really
that's crazy.
fun.
What inspired you to kind of get started with that? And what was the first thing you ever made?
First thing I ever made and what inspired me to start getting into this hobby is that I wanted to make a doll for my friend for her birthday.
Uh,
And I remember looking, I think that's probably one of my toxic traits is that I will look at something and say, I could do that. I could make that. And so I just made it and it was like pretty easy and it was fun because you can like do things in the background like watch TV and it makes me
mm,
feel actually productive to do that. So,
mhm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I've seen like those little like packs of like little like animal creatures. Is that like have you made those before? Like is that like a particular brand that people get?
yeah, I think I've talked to a couple of people. It's funny again because I ended up joining a crochet knitting community. There's like so many sub communities.
Sound like a grandma.
I know. We actually do meet up at the library and we end up
Oh
like
my
crocheting
gosh.
and knitting. But I was talking to a couple of those girls and they were saying like those packs are really nice, especially to get started because everything's explained in there. But that's a specific company. I think if you ever want to get started, it's pretty easy and there's so many YouTube videos. So
Yeah. Do you have any? So I know obviously you made the sweater that you're wearing, which I think is pretty ambitious. But any other things that you're like, that's something I want to do, or like a style or technique that you haven't been able to figure out yet, but you want to try?
yes, I am in the middle of making a cable knit sweater and that's knitting.
Mm,
And it is like the most signature, I feel, like
mm,
knitting pattern, but
mhm.
it's kind of difficult for me because there's a bit of a learning curve. But luckily, I have a great resource, my actual grandma, who's the original knitter of the family. So I can just go to her and ask her for help.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I love that. Um, if somebody, for anyone that wanted to get started in crocheting and knitting, would you recommend one of those like kits that I mentioned, or like YouTube? Like, what would you tell to our listeners if somebody wanted to get started?
I think the easiest project to get started with is actually a scarf. I think
Mm,
everybody starts with a scarf
mhm,
because it's just a single block of rectangle. And so
mhm.
you could just grab a hook and some yarn and just get started just like that. And you'll just really learn the basics by making that scarf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Uh, what is just a random question? What is the funniest or most unexpected thing that has happened to you while either running or pickleballing or crocheting or knitting?
I mean, I think the funniest stories for me or random come from pickleball
Hmm.
because, people are so unpredictable. And I have gone, like, luckily, one of my best friends, we love playing pickleball together, and we'll go to drop ins like every weekend. And it's usually chill. It's supposed to be chill.
Yeah.
This is a rec sport, right?
Yeah.
And there was this one couple who's just so intense about it.
Gosh.
And they were just slamming their serves, and me and my friend were just like, like we didn't know it was like that. And so now we're like determined to see them again on the court, and we're just going to take them on this time.
Yeah. Just show them how good you've gotten. So if you had to have a free day to do nothing but your hobbies, how would you spend it? What would be the order of operations?
I think I start my mornings always with a cup of coffee. That's my favorite. That's what I look forward to waking up, honestly, is my cup of coffee. And then I honestly could just knit and crochet and watch TV all day in bed. That's like, that would
Wow.
be all I do.
Yeah. No activity in there?
You know, if it's really a day of nothing, I'd rather just be crocheting and knitting.
Gotcha. Love it. All right, I have some rapid fire questions here, which you kind of answered one of them already. So maybe I'll float another one in there at the end. But all right. So pickleball or golf?
Pickleball.
Early morning run or late night crafting?
Tough. Early morning run.
Ah, okay. Favorite sport to watch?
Football.
Football. All right. Who's your team?
The Ravens.
Oh, God, I'm a Steelers fan. So
Yeah, I saw your Instagram stories.
yeah. Not too happy. Crocheting or knitting? Now that I know that they're two different things.
Crocheting.
Crocheting. Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
And then I guess the last one, Coke or Pepsi?
That's actually tough because I just got into Diet Coke culture, but then I had Diet Pepsi the other day. So
You might be the first person on the planet that I've met that said that's
Diet
a
Pepsi
taco.
was pretty good.
Oh, okay. I mean, hey, I'll take your word for it. I guess I gotta try it.
Yeah, but I think ultimately Coke.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. So final question that I'm going to ask everybody this season. What's one hobby or skill you've always wanted to try but haven't yet?
I think honestly, I would like to try cooking more or baking more. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cooking or baking or both?
Maybe baking.
Baking to start. Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like baking is harder because of like the measurements of everything. It's like if one thing's off, it's going to come out different, or it's not going to taste right?
Yeah, I think that's the obstacle that I have to overcome is like
Mhm.
being able to follow the book because I'm a very like I want to go with my gut.
Yeah. Yeah, I think definitely with baking, I feel like cooking, you have more free will to like, oh, I'm going to sprinkle some of this in, like a little bit more of this. But I've talked about this a lot in season 1, but I feel like cooking is always a topic that people mention as like something that they're interested in. And Olivia does all the cooking. She's the best. Like she is like such a chef, but I help with the dishes, and I'm like her sous chef, but for me, I need to follow a recipe. Like my timing is terrible with cooking. So I don't know. I've kind of given up on that, but
It's the same dynamic as me, which is why I want to get into baking
yeah.
because my husband does all of that and it's nice. But I also, like I said, my toxic trait is that I look at it and I'm like, I could do that. Let me try.
Yeah. I gotcha. Well, thank you so much for joining me for our first episode of season 2 for Data After Hours, Michelle. It was so wonderful to catch up with you, and I'm so happy that you're doing well. And I loved kind of getting this update on your life.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Eric.
Yeah, of course. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Data After Hours. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more fascinating stories from the data world and beyond. Until next time, stay curious and good night.